We'll start in about 4 minutes. Pastor Coloma Smith, good to see you, sir. Start in about 4 minutes. And I'll be calling on you at the end of the agenda, so please make sure you hang with us, okay? Miss Chiquita, nice to meet you. Good to see you.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
Good, good, good. Glad you're on the call. Pastor John Griffin, how are you, sir? Good to see you. I believe this is Pastor Tara. Also.
Yes.
All right. McNair, there you are.
Yes.
We'll be beginning in about 2 minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you for having such a glorious meeting at an appropriate time.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Tashawn, I'm switching over the hosting to you right now. Dr. Amanda Goodson, good to see you.
Okay, I was muted. I was just, is everything okay for you and your family?
Yeah, everything's good. I'll
Okay.
catch you up a little bit after this call.
Okay,
Good to see you.
yes, sir.
Gregory Chalk, good to see you, sir. We'll begin in about 1 minute. Cool beans. I know there will be several others that will be joining us along the way, but I want to make sure that we use our time wisely. Probably this is what we'll do. We'll give everybody another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll begin. If you notice, all of your phones are muted. We're grateful for our Chief Ministry Operator, Tashawn Thomas, who's looking like me, ungroomed, seeing that we haven't had haircuts in a couple of weeks. But he is our conference host and administrator for this call. I see JP Moore that's on the line. Pastor Ramon Strickland, I see you as well. And Tashawn, if you can unmute JP and Miss Chiquita Lockley, we appreciate it. So I'm rocking my JP Design shirt, just to let y'all see it.
Oh,
Mr. Creative. I'm his creative, so I'm just letting y'all know what I'm rocking today. So grateful and thankful for each and every one of you all who joined. We have about 14 participants that's on the line right now. I want to share in a real way by introduction to this call. I know several individuals who stated that they'll be joining us. I see Pastor Barnes just joined us. Shayna Hill just joined us. So as individuals join us on this call, we're grateful and thankful for each pastor, each leader, ministry leader who decided to be with us today. So I want to basically bring greetings to all of you all who serve in ministry as national leaders. I know a couple of bishops might be on the call as well. I want to take this time to thank you first and foremost, sharing this Monday with us while we all are residents in shelter. This is a time no other generation has ever experienced or seen before. What we are enduring right now, pastoring through a pandemic. I believe we must show up in a major way that the kingdom of God, as we are his witnesses, and faith and determination. I'm not sure about you, but I've already experienced several individuals who are close to me who have now been infected by COVID-19, 2 individuals who have passed recently. I lift up their names, Barbara Harper, who is a part of my fraternity. Her husband is, along with a man by the name of Ed, who is close to our family, who just recently passed due to COVID-19. So this dreadful virus has not only shaped us, but it's causing us to be cautious in a way. And we don't know when the near end will be near. It is also a moment for us to be reflective on how we're going to do ministry moving forward. Ministry that's meaningful, impactful, and connecting to the heart of those that we have been privileged to serve. I know and recognize the fact that several individuals have modeled this ministry already well, connecting with people through their ministry virtually. Their staggering subscribers to YouTube and Vimeo suggest that they have already pivoted well in this uncertain season. However, many of us have yet to realize how this phenomenon called COVID-19 will not only redefine how we do ministry today, but for years to come. And I was prompted by several pastors who had a heart to reach out to me and to say, you know, we have to do something. We have to offer up something that will be beneficial to all pastors, irrespective of to size or to the ministry magnitude of your churches. To offer up some helpful hints and suggestions on how to navigate virtually for your ministry without size being a challenge for you. It is our calling at this time to lead people through this crisis with hope and godly confidence that this is not a season about selfishness or reactionary leadership, but this is a leadership moment for us to lead and shine as the church of God. And therefore, I've asked a couple of people who I believe are the smartest and the most informed when it comes to building brand awareness, social media, and using the tools that will lead us to an active presence for your membership and for your people. Along with myself, I've asked JP Moore, who is the Chief Creative Officer for JP Designs Arts, which we've had now over 11-year relationship with, and also Chiquita Lockley, who is a major producer, director, and media expert who has joined us. Along with that, I have one of my local colleagues and friend of the AME Zion Church, Pastor Kaloma Smith, who has done a call similar to this a few days ago, who's going to share a resource with us at the end. So at this time, I'm asking that Ms. Lockley come forward and share some helpful tips and hints on how to navigate this season.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation to share. I've been working with churches for over 15 years. I'm Tasha Cobbs Leonard's creative director, and I have a lot of churches that I consult with and for. So I guess it's been a week ago, I started getting inundated with questions on what's about to happen, and if I don't have church at my house, and I've never done it, what does that even look like, and should I be prepared? So I just wrote a quick article with 7 points that I think any church, regardless of your size, would be able to use. And I put it on LinkedIn and it went viral. And then I started getting more questions and I just like kind of circle them back to the article. But JP asked me to take a few minutes to, just meet with you, give you the 7 points, see if you have any specific questions that I can field for you today. So I'll start with your setup. So first of all, you want to keep your congregation's emotions in mind because a lot is going on. Maybe they have family members who, are dealing with coronavirus. I know Ms. Hopper as well. Her daughter, Adrian, is a colleague of mine, so it hits home. So emotions are happening. So what you want to do for Sundays is make sure that it's still a comfortable worship environment for them, which means you may not want to be like in your bathroom or something. So keep that in mind. If you are going into your church to have service and the government and CDC have asked for us to have under 10, that means 9 and under. What is that setup going to look like for you? If you are in a large church, make sure your camera team, they can start with a full shot just to kind of center and ground everybody to remember like this is where we are, this is Sunday, we're in church, and then kind of zoom in and you want like a mid-side shot so that they can still see the pastor's face and see the worship leaders' faces and connect with the emotion of what they would normally do on Sundays. It's just now they're at home. So think about your space. If you have a small church, like your sanctuary is small, your platform, the pulpit is small, and you have like drapes and pipe and drape and curtains and all kind of stuff in the background, because some churches, especially smaller ones, that's what they're set up. That's what they look like. Make sure that you take maybe four good steps in front of it to put some distance between you and the wall. Because if you're at home, if you're looking at me now, there are about 6 feet between me and this wall still looks like it's on my back. So think about it. If you're at home and your church, your worship leaders or your pastor are standing right up on something, like maybe it's your like your logo or a banner. If they're standing right up on it, it's suffocating. Like it makes it really, really tight. You can't breathe. So keep in mind whether your space is super, super large, like a huge cathedral, or if it's small, what that's going to look like for the person at home. So that's the first thing. And then with your lighting, just kind of do a test on it to make sure that you're lit so that you're not so dark, because we're all black. So because our skin is brown, we're absorbing the light. So just make sure you have a couple extra lights, and maybe they can forward the article out. I put some links for some inexpensive lighting that you could just order, have it by Sunday and put it up. You don't have to be an expert to put them up. They're pretty simple lights. So that's the first thing. The second, in choosing your key personnel, because that number is 9 or fewer, what does that look like for your church? So most people are going to have at least the keyboardist. Some of them, if your church is like worship heavy, like the top of service is worship heavy, you're going to probably need a drummer as well. You may not need a bass player. You're going to probably need your worship leader and maybe 2 or 3 singers, but keep counting, because you'll have to figure out, like, I can only have 2 singers because I need to add security or I need to add a deacon. You're not dealing with your finances on site, you're dealing with them online. So maybe your deacon doesn't have to be there, or your trustee, maybe they don't have to be on site Sunday because all of your donations are probably coming in online. So think about your personnel. Even when they're standing, make sure they're 6 feet apart. Last Sunday, I was watching, just going through different of my clients and some other churches, and the worship teams, they might have only had 9, but they were shoulder to shoulder, and we're not supposed to do that either. So just keep in mind what the guidelines are to keep everybody safe. Number 3, huge, increase your bandwidth. What that means is, if you have, assuming everybody already has a website for your church, you have a certain bandwidth. Now, you can go up, and many times you don't even have to pay for more bandwidth, but like AT&T or whoever services you, they have algorithms to show what your usage is. So if you're only using this much, they're only giving you this much normally. So on a Sunday, you have an extra 1,000 people who were in church normally, they're online. So you have this many people and this much bandwidth. So it's going to crash your website. So what you want to do is call into your service provider, let them know what's happening happening. Most times they don't charge, especially if you tell them that you are a church and they just click some buttons. You don't have to do anything unless your church is like really, really old and you haven't upgraded your system. They may not be able to do it because that could require rewiring your church if you haven't upgraded in like the past decade. But if you have, and you have like good Wi-Fi and stuff in the church, you should be all right. So, but you have to call them because they won't know what to expect, like this new influx of traffic if you don't call them. Number 4, troubleshooting. So you don't want to have everybody at the church on Sunday and Wednesday and multiple days, but you do need to troubleshoot. So I would at least one time, like the first time that everybody's trying to get on the same page with it, I will go in. I like to troubleshoot by Wednesday. That gives you 2 business days to fix anything that is not working. If you're there and you can tell right then, so let's just say you go on to your Instagram live, and if you're a pastor, you could just say, maybe it's your Wednesday service, but we know you're testing it for Sunday, but the audience, the congregation, they just think you're live because it's Wednesday or Tuesday night. You're testing it. If you upload to Facebook Live and your connection keeps dropping, it will be worse on Sunday. And that gives you 2 business days to either call your service provider or talk to your tech person at the church to figure out how you can fix it so that it's not breaking on Sundays when your congregation is expecting for at the least for you to have decent technology. Number 5, communicate. So what's been happening, you have parents who are home with their kids, they're getting 50 emails from school. If they have more than 1 kid, it's probably 100 emails from school. Every company you ever dealt with, they're sending you their policy on coronavirus, from Delta Airlines to Annie's Pretzels the other day. Like, why? So everybody is sending all these emails. You don't want to get lost in that. So make sure you have one good like visual, and you can call JP, figure out what your graphic is for this window of time so that it's consistent. Every time you post it, they know like, oh, this is the church announcement. And it's clear. It's something that pops. You only need one of them, and have the correct information. Like, this is the website where we're going to be. This is, if y'all are having like you need prayer, emergency prayer, this is who you contact. And every time you post this flyer, this is what you're posting. Now you can switch the information out on it, but try not to send it too often. I say like once a day, just send them a note, because that goes into, well, that's number 7. So I'll skip around and I'll come back to number 6. So that goes into number 7, where you want to reach out and touch them. Like, they need to know that their pastors are calm, because that helps them be a little bit more calm. So yes, on Sundays you're having your service, but if you could pop in for a midday live, just for a quick prayer, just to touch bases with them, just to let them see your face, even if you just reading the daily devotional or reading the daily scripture, it could be at 7 in the morning because some are getting ready for work. It could be at lunchtime. If that's when they're gonna pop in for this like power prayer for 5 minutes or whatever, so that you're touching them consistently, and that kind of is keeping people calm during this time as well, as long as the pastor is calm too. So that will take me to the last one: prepare your second location. So what is happening now from state to state? Some, like I'm in Atlanta and the city is on lockdown. Not every city is. The federal government has not decided that that's the course they're going to take it. But if and when this happens to you, I think for many of you on the West Coast, you may already be mandatory quarantine. You need a second location. So those 9 people might not even be able to come to the church. So where in your home can you take a corner that looks decent, where you can take a corner, make sure you have good lighting, make sure your internet service, like put it near your router, your home router, just to make sure that your internet isn't dropping. And that's where you're gonna meet your people. I always say, if you have church banners like the pop-up, like they're usually 6 feet tall, maybe 3 feet wide, 2.5 to 3 feet across. If you have the pop-up with the church name or the church logo or the pastor's picture on it, pop that up behind you, like where we are right now. Pop it up right over your shoulder, just to kind of ground the room so they know where you are. The goal is to not have to use this on Sundays, but if you have to, it is what it is. But this is the place where you can come to them every day when you're just going to pop in for those quick moments to give them devotion or whatever. This is a space where they can meet you, and it's the second location, which 2 weeks ago, nobody was really planning for a second location. But now with mandatory quarantines, you have to have that as a backup. And then every day you can use it without having to go to the church. So those are my 7 kind of quick pointers just to get us through this interim.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Chiquita. You have given us, I'll call a bucket load of content that we can chew on. And this Zoom is actually being recorded, so
Okay.
you don't have to worry about losing this information. We'll have it for you. You'll have access to it later on. Tashawn has already posted Chiquita's article that's on LinkedIn, 7 steps to shift to an online worship experience. Please check that out, and she will stick around at the end of this call so that we can have what we call some Q&A. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I think I'm up next. I want to just share a couple of tidbits once I locate where they are. Want to share a couple of tidbits, what you might want to consider while pastoring amid a pandemic. These are some points that were shared not only with myself, but some of our local pastors that have really just been a compilation of the same. And Tashawn, if you can just resend me what, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You are a lifesaver. Want to share just these 5 steps, and I'm going to share some of the things that I've already done. First step is you ought to call the most vulnerable population and delegate trusted members to go do grocery and medical runs. And you can do this simply by ordering a box of gloves. Gloves are still available. Nylon gloves, plastic gloves are still available. You can go on Amazon, get a box of extra large, because that's the only thing that's left out there. Get them back in 2 days. Put together a team. You might want to call them the Rona team or your crisis team. Have them go out and check on your seniors, those who normally would be getting around on their own, but can't move, need medical runs, prescription runs, grocery runs. That's a great way to re-engage in ministry. One of the things, I have a call in about 3 hours, since I'm still on the West Coast, so behind most of you all in time. Our stewards are getting ready to go through our membership list. Now we have 7,837 records, but we're not going to go through all of those names and call each individual. What we're going to do is going to call the first list, which are those consistent donors, and just simply say, hey, how are you? How are you faring during this time? What's going on? Can we pray for you? So I have 20 stewards, 20 leaders. They're going to divvy up the list. One of our leaders are on the line right now. They're planning to do that this week. One of the things that you can do in addition to that, pastors, is very critical that you be hope and inspiration for them. There's a term in systematic theology is called ontology, the study of being. The best thing that you can do is try to hold it together for your people. You might be scared yourself. You might be experiencing anxiety yourself, but it's critical for you to demonstrate a level of hope, demonstrate a level of peace, and demonstrate a level of calmness. Chiquita has alluded to this in her presentation, but it's critical that you be the gospel for people during these days. Another thing that you have to do, if you have not done so, is start regularly posting messages of hope and inspiration on your personal pages. Don't use your personal pages to crack jokes at this time. I think, in my own opinion, that's inappropriate, especially when people are losing loved ones, or people are in hospitals or sick. I just got off the phone with another person who's on their way to the hospital because they are weak and they was already exposed. So people are scared. So you have to be sensitive to that and give them messages of hope and inspiration. Next piece I would say is that we have to be innovative in our worship. So for example, I just saw a buddy of mine, not recommending everybody do this, but I thought it was innovative. He saw DJ Nice hitting over 100K. So Jamal Bryant said, hey, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna have a basement party. he pulled out. It was a way to engage people, to kind of break up the monotony, to not preach at them, but yet engage in some level of social engagement. Another way that you can do this is being visible beyond church activities. People need to see that you're living and that you're okay. And one way that you can do this, JP inspired this, but we did 7 days of prayer. And we had prayer focuses for each day, for healthcare workers, to those who are on the front line, to the postal worker who's still dropping off your mail, to your members. This is a way that you can engage people in an intentional way, but make a move where people feel that you're engaged. Now, let me flip the script in a little bit. I want to share a couple of things that people need to understand. Number one, around finances. If your church has a mortgage, if your church has some kind of installment loan, this is the perfect time to call your financial institution and ask them for a deferment or a moratorium. Right now, all financial institutions are giving out moratoriums or deferments, as they call them, for 90 days. All you have to do is state to them that your giving, your tithes and offerings, is either 100% or 80% of your revenue base. And because you cannot meet due to the resident in shelter policy or order, your income is now jeopardized or compromised. That bank will, again, go through their process and send you back a letter of deferment. Now you say, well, how do you know this? I just got my letter today. A week, 7 business days ago, I submitted a form for our mortgage. So now the months of April, May, and June, we don't have to pay. That's critical because that'll help ease up some of the stress if you are experiencing that in your church. Another way, I know people saying that some of my members don't have smartphones. Encourage them to go buy one. You know, get one on Amazon Prime. You know, get them to get a smartphone. This is not the day for us to hold on to our flip phones. This is the day that we can get up-to-date information by which people are able to not only give, but to receive information. Sign up for some free text messaging services that are out there. You can just search the web, and they'll give you up to a certain amount of people where you can text your members on a consistent basis. Givelify is a very trusted, safe, and secure company when it comes to giving. It just so happened to be African American owned. Now, I know many of us trip out when we think it's something that's Black. We don't want to deal with it. But this company this month has already surpassed the $1 billion mark in transactions. So it's a safe, secure company that continue to give great service. That service is only 2.9% off of your transaction, but it gives people an opportunity to give not just once a week, but 7 days a week. In addition to that, I want to encourage you to make sure that you are using graphics and communicating to your staff, to your congregation, and dealing with any free publicity or press. So for example, right now, it was something that we were adamant of not doing, but it's turning out to be a great blessing. The mayor of Oakland is meeting in our church every week for a city town hall. Every up-to-date information when it comes to rent moratoriums, when it comes to mortgage moratoriums, that information is flowing through our church. As she's sitting on the background, sitting in her seat, what we see in the background is Beebe Memorial Cathedral. What that's saying to our community, that we are engaging in ways that is creative. We can't give everybody a grocery bag, but we can give people information that can keep them in their houses, keep their lights on, keep their bills running. Last but not least, I want to drop this to you. Think about how you're going to minister to people during funerals, memorial services, when shelters are in place. For example, the person that we just mentioned, Barbara Hopper, that family has to now deal with the fact that they either going to have to postpone her funeral or figure out a way to manage their grief with this shelter in place. That's a critical time for you to be present with them, whether it be by a phone call, whether it be by FaceTime or Skype or Zoom. This is a good time for you just to have a ministry of presence to your members. Last but not least, I want to share this a little bit, and then I'm gonna move out the way. So JP, because he has some great stuff he's about to share. I called him one night, literally speaking in known and unknown tongues, saying, you got to help these pastors, and you got to help them. And he answered the call, so he's going to share that in a minute. But last but not least, many of us recognize that First Sunday is coming. And many of you all have been challenged to say, what are we going to do? In fact, Pastor Jeremy L. Williams called me and said, Doc, what you planning to do? I know you got an answer. And because he challenged me, I had an answer. I didn't know I did, but I had one. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to use intention on First Sunday, but we're going to do it virtually. There's nothing in the AME Zion, the CME, UMC, Pentecostal Church of God in Christ that say you can't consecrate your communion elements virtually. There's nothing in the ritual that says that. So we're going to consecrate them elements over the airways, and we're going to ask people in their houses to take their leavened or unleavened bread and take it and put it in some substance that's called grape juice. Hopefully it's grape juice. If it's some other kind of juice, it came from a vine. We're going to ask you to dip that into there, and then we're going to take communion together. And we're going to keep people engaged so that they can remember that their faith moves beyond the four walls and the institution or the brick and mortar, but it gives us an opportunity and idea to be the church of God. So I just want to give that. Mr. Tashawn Thomas is going to make sure that you spread the word. And I know some bishops in some other communions have told their pastors not to do that. But I do have a bishop on the line, and he has not stated for us not to do it. So pastors, go forward. Let's receive JP Moore. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Awesome. Okay, very good. Good evening to you. So thank you, Dr. Haynes, for inviting me to be a part of it. Thank you, Sharita, as well, for joining us. I don't take it lightly that you cut out this time to be a part of the call as well. So everybody, just to share with you, it's so important to have a presence on social media right now. If it was never important before, your church, your personal Instagrams, your Facebooks need to be a go-to for your members to find hope, to be informed, and to be able to engage and connect with other members as well. Some of them might be going to your website, but there's no better place right now during social distancing for everybody to be unified virtually through social media. And it is vitally important for you to be able to communicate to your members, to your staff and your team, what is going on as a ministry as a whole, so that there's not any gaps within the continuation of the ministry. So that varies from Sunday morning worship to your midweek service, to online giving, to special events like Easter, which is coming up. This will be the first Easter Sunday that I can remember where no one's going to be actually in the four walls of a church, but everybody will be gathered around their TVs, gathered around their computers, their laptops, their iPhones, and their iPads to celebrate the risen Savior. So it is important that you communicate to your members that, listen, Easter is still happening. Don't think that it's a day for you to sleep in. It's actually still a morning for you to get up and to worship. So what I have done, Pastor Haynes has really inspired me when he sent me a few posts that he had seen on Facebook and Instagram. He said, listen, JP, you know, our people, the kingdom is struggling right now to have quality communication for their graphics, because a lot of these churches simply weren't equipped to be on social media. And we want to be able to give you some tools that you'll be able to customize yourself so that you can communicate to your body, to your church, that things are still happening. So what I have done is I'm going to share my screen. I've created over 40 different graphics, ranging from online giving to Good Friday to Easter Sunday, midweek service, that you'll be able to post and share with your teams, your staff. So I'm going to share this screen now.
And as he shares the screen, I want you to understand the gravity of this. This is a resource that he is giving to all of us for free. This is about $8,500 worth of graphic content that you're getting ready to see. The different types of fonts that you can get on Microsoft Word or Pages. The different types of layers of colors. He's given the PSDs, which means that you can break up the page, all of that stuff that he's giving to you for free. So share the word and say thank you in a tangible way to this brother. But go ahead.
Pastor, for saying that. So each file includes a JPEG and a PSD. The PSD you're able to open up in Photoshop. You can download, very simple variations of Photoshop for free, or you can actually get the Creative Suite online for a reasonable price to actually edit these files. But I've also given you blank files, a JPEG that you can open up on your phone. You can take it into Wordsmith or WordsApp or WhatsApp. There's so many different apps on your phone, you'll be able to actually add the text yourself and customize it. So we have Resurrection Sunday, which is coming. There's a couple of different options for you to choose from. And of course, once you open up the PSD, if you want to change the colors, if you want to change the fonts, all of those options are available to you as well. It's important to let your family and your members know that you are on Facebook in case they don't know where to find you. So you can actually take this graphic here and add your Facebook URL, your handle to it. There's also one for Instagram as well. That we've got some Givelify ads for you to customize. There's also Good Friday that you can add in there. You can put your date, you can add your logo, you can do whatever you want. You have the freedom to create and modify it as you please. I will not be offended. I just want to be able to equip you with tools that you can use. So we have Good Friday. We've got, when you're going live, like there's different levels of communication that you want to give to your members. So first of all, you want to do a post. Say you have service coming up on Sunday morning, right? And you want to do a post that says, join us live this Sunday, watch us live, and here are your times. You got 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. It's important that because you're going live nationwide, you're not just limited to your local community. When you're going live nationwide, you want to be able to communicate the different time zones. So I've created space for you to say Time, Central Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time. Again, you have the PSD, so if you need to add, if you're having 4 or 5 services, you need to add more circles or combine things, feel free to do that. So that's your first line of communication is, hey, we're having service and it's going live at 9 a.m. And then you'll have another ad that says, hey, we're going live in 5 minutes. So 5 minutes before your service starts, people know to start getting ready and make the preparations, gather around their computer and or their TV so that they know they're going live in 5. There's several different versions to go live, so you're able to add some variations over these next 4 weeks as you're going live in 5. Then you'll also have the We Are Live Now. It's somewhere in here. There's over 40 graphics to choose from, but I won't hit on each individual, but just some of the key ones. So what is happening is how you want to interject, Pastor?
Yeah, that was one that you created around members that have been engaging.
So I did a member highlight. Thank you. If you notice when you're streaming or even when you're just posting on Facebook, Facebook will tell you who your #1 fans are, who's really engaging, who's sharing. And you can even keep track of some of that internally as well. When you see someone consistently sharing and posting and engaging with you on Facebook, you want to celebrate your members. You want them to know that you appreciate them. So this is a graphic that you can actually take their picture and drop it in on the right-hand side and post that and let them know, hey, listen, we see you, we thank you, we appreciate you. And it will not only engage them, but when other members see, oh, Sister Jones got a shout out from Pastor for engaging, that now they're going to engage as well. And it's going to create that buzz and keep them momentum going, so that they'll feel appreciated. They'll know that they are seen, they are heard, and that you haven't forgotten about them over this time passing. So it's always good to celebrate your members. I have also created a watch party graphic. I don't know if you're familiar with watch parties on Facebook, but this watch party graphic, if your member wants to say, hey, listen, family, my church is going live at 9 a.m. I'm hosting a watch party. They take this graphic and post it and invite all of their family members or whoever their friends or their followers are to join them at their watch party that they're hosting that is already connected to your live stream. So you might go from when you had 10 members viewing your live stream or 200 members viewing your live stream, that might double just based on your members hosting watch parties and sharing it. You might want to call it a worship party. You can change the watch to worship. You know, you have the PSD to do that. Here's on Instagram. Also Notes. I thought Notes was fun because everybody's on their device right now, and if they're taking sermon notes and you want them to be able to drop in their words and share it, or if you want to take some of your highlights from your sermon so they have a point to go back and reference, and you post these on your pages, it's a great tool to really engage them throughout the week. If you say, hey, you know what, I did my sermon on Sunday, I'm going to post one note each day throughout the week to engage them of the word that was spoken on that Sunday. It's a great opportunity to do that. There's also a prayer call graphic. If you're hosting your prayer calls throughout the week or once a week or whatever your schedule might be, you have the opportunity to customize that graphic as well. I've also included almost 300 fonts in this folder. So whatever font that I've used, you might be opening it up in Photoshop. You have now the capability to make sure that all of the graphics are consistent with the fonts and you don't have to replace them with your own. You can let them know to worship with you on YouTube. You can also, I think I did some of the online giving ones. This is online giving. Feel free to add in the Givelify or Tithely or whatever app your church might be using. You know, drop those logos in there, customize it how you will. And how to download these is I have created the link is going to be dropped right now into your
Chat box.
app box. So I'm going to
Now, JP, one question that has come up organically. One of the pastors said, what did he say? He says, man, how do we send him a love offering?
praise God for that. You can always go to Cash App. Cash App is an easy way. And my Cash App is $, jpdesignsart.com. And again, you know, I didn't do this expecting anything, but I'm so grateful. I know that Dr. Hames and I have partnered together for, like you said, over 11 years, and I believe in what he's doing, and I was honored that he reached out, and I'm more than happy to share these graphics with you all, and I pray that it would be a blessing to your ministry and to Kingdom Building.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we have more than doubled the number of people that's participating on this call. We up to about 32, which is great. Thank you, Chiquita, for sharing your time and being with us today. So I know there's a bunch of questions. I want you to send your written questions to the chat box, and then we're going to look through them. And then Tashana is going to open up the airways for those who want to make quick comments. We have about 20 minutes or so. So mute yourselves unless you are planning to talk, but if you want to make a comment, speak up now. All right. If you want to make a comment, there's a feature that says raise your hand, and then we will see your hand raised, for example. Oh, while we're waiting for that, I thank God for Pastor John Griffin. He stated to me that in his state, because I believe he's in the state of Texas, let me see where that is. He stated that funeral homes are only allowing graveside services right now. That's that's what's happening in the state of Texas. So, and it might be happening in multiple states. So please remember that. And I want to acknowledge and thank God for Bishop Thomas L. Brown, who's sharing with us. He's listening in. He says this has been some great training and exposure. Thank you, Bishop, for listening in to us right now. So anybody have any questions? Now also, Pastor Coloma Smith has an article that he just did along with several other millennial pastors throughout our country on best practices for virtual church. That will be shared with you as well. Also, I believe the Cash App link has been shared as well. But whatever questions, please ask right now. Jeremy, you have a question or comment?
First, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, first, I definitely want to say I am appreciative for this line. There's been so much really, really invaluable information. As one question that I was working up to think through is with the desire to make sure that we can connect with our people regularly and trying to weave together the graphics. I would like to hear some strategies for if we're doing like a daily quick message. I think Shakita, you mentioned having some constant kind of graphic for whenever there's like an official announcement from the church, and how, I'm thinking right now how to weave together what you said and implement with some of these graphics that JP just so graciously submitted, which I'm really appreciative for. So just looking at some of those, what are some strategies that you two can say weaving those two together?
So a couple of the ones that JP posted had a lot of clear space on it. And because he's sending them so that you can take the layers off. So if one of them was like the one that says we're on Facebook, I think, no, that had a lot of pieces. We're on Instagram, didn't have a lot of pieces. So you can say attention, announcements, and then put whatever you have to put and just take the Instagram circle off if you wanted to do that. And that way, but every time you have something important to say, do that, because that way they'll know that every time they see that one particular one, it's actually an announcement with new information. So let's say if you had to change the service times, they need to know that, yes, you're sending like wonderful inspirational stuff, but pay attention to this because this is going to be new information every time. And JP could speak more to that. Maybe you have a stop sign that you could add to their packet. You're muted. JP, you're muted.
Hey, Tashawn, unmute JP, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you read my mind to add like a stop sign graphic or a church announcements graphic so that they know this is a special announcement, and that'll be easy. I'll add that in.
So there you have it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Cool. Any other individuals want to raise? I'm just going to randomly check. Pastor Barnes, you want to raise something? John Griffin, you do just wave your hand at me.
No, I just want to say I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to hear some of the ideas that are going forth. And again, Mr. JP, Brother JP, we appreciate what you're getting. My daughter ran in at the time that you were giving that Cash App out. So if you give me that again, I had to go usher out. They were playing treasure hunt. So
Absolutely, I appreciate that. It's JP, the letter JP, DESIGNSART.com. It's not no .com. I'm sorry. I think I'm giving out my website.
Yeah.
What's the $sign JP Designs Art?
okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Pastor Coloma Smith, and if you all can send questions to the chat box, we can take them. Pastor Coloma Smith, if you can add something, please, sir.
We've been doing virtual church for a long time at university just because we're in Silicon Valley and people are very transitional in our area. So the resource that we're sharing today is preparing congregations to actually worship and participate in Zoom and in worship, because a lot of people actually don't have experience making these spaces, these technological spaces, holy or personal. So the articles that we've shared with everybody is stuff that I've written over the past few weeks to really give like steps for people, like turn off distractions, stop scrolling, say a prayer, you know, invite other people to be part of it. This is still a holy thing. And I think it's important for us to create the value of being holy, even though we're using technology, because it's still an interaction with God. It's still an interaction with hope. And we need to separate it from everything else they're seeing on the news, on their stream. One of the challenges with social media in particular, and the other two speakers spoke about it, is all information shows up the same on it. You could have a death, you could have a cat, you could have the president speaking, it all shows up the same. So part of the job of leading people into holy spaces is giving them information and letting them know to be part of it. The other thing is there's a paradigm shift, particularly in preaching and teaching on technology. The days of us talking down from the mountain on these formats are over. We need to start making things become more interactive. So things like as simple as when you start your live stream, asking people to check in and put in the box where they're watching from. So at least they're interacting, having a moderator, so they're prompting questions and stuff in the box. Also making sure you have links for prayer, to join the church, and to give to the church in your descriptions, so that you can at least have some next steps there, because this is not a one-way format. This is not, the technology is not like a preaching moment. It's more of a conversational moment, and how do you bring that out and let people be engaged? Because the danger is this, is that on Sunday morning, right now, if you go through your feed, there's probably 300 sermons, 300 things going on. You need to hook them in the first 10 minutes and keep giving them connection points throughout it. That's where the moderator. So that's it.
Yeah, no, I
Can
think.
I just say to the,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, and a specific example to your point. So as a pastor, many of you say, turn to your neighbor, touch your neighbor. Every time in a real, like a live service that you would say, turn to your neighbor, touch your neighbor, your language is gonna switch to say, type in, if you agree with this comment, type it in the box. Put in some stars if this is a shooting star. Put a check mark if you agree. So it's the same. Your sermon is the same, but the language is shifting for technology. So yes, absolutely. To your point, there's that. So switch the language so that they're still interactive, but they're talking to you online instead of turning to their neighbor and saying it. They could say the same thing, but they're not turning to their neighbor. They're typing it in the box. And you absolutely need an internet pastor, like your iPastor, who is in the box, because I have seen suicidal people in the box and they need somebody to pray for them right then. And you also have to report it to your local authorities. That happens. Is very real, and that's not even during Corona. That's just like regular Sunday. So you want somebody in there for liability purposes, but you also want somebody in there who can give the call to Christ, who can lead them to salvation, because we're still a church. So you want to have somebody in there that's paying attention to that, for sure.
That is so invaluable. And I want to just reemphasize, I've been watching some of our colleagues, and in the language change is difficult for some people, saying don't touch nobody right now, let alone your neighbor. So how do you continue to change that? Let me answer two quick questions, Chiquita, JP, Coloma, get ready. Dr. Amanda Goodson asked the question, what are your thoughts on pre-recorded messages? My thoughts is this: if you have capacity and capability, do it. You can still upload it like it's live, right? Nobody will know the difference. Chiquita, you want to add anything to that?
Yes, you can do it. And one of the programs that let me see if I can pull it up. Another program for you all to kind of play around with is called Mimo Live, MIMO LIVE, and it'll let you do just that, record it and play it. The trick is you can't be texting in, like uploading while your pre-recorded service is on, because then they know that it's pre-recorded. So if you care that they know it's live, just keep in mind, because that almost happened with us yesterday on a different project that was pre-recorded. So just keep that in mind. But yes, absolutely, if you need to record it. So I have a client who's doing 3 sermons at a time. So when they go into the church, it's 3 at a time, bring a change of clothes. So that is absolutely happening. And then it helps you with your resources, so that if you're paying the band or your media team or whomever to come out, they don't have to keep coming out. So you can do it like 3 or 4 at a time. It's taxing a little bit on the pastor because that's like back-to-back sermons. So consider that this is now a 4-hour block of time, but you won't have to do it every single week. The only challenge to keep in mind with that is, like, the world is still turning. So if anything happens next week and you're going to want to address it, you will either need to do it in your midweek or do it on one of your daily update posts with your members.
Absolutely. And
Can you repeat that website?
yeah, repeat the website, and then Tashana's going to type it in, or you can type it into the chat.
It is Mimo Live, M-I-M. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Mimo Live.
Yeah, you could just Google Mimo Live, M-I-M-O Live, and the website is BOINX.com/Mimo Live. And I have a couple others listed in the article. This is the newest one. Like, I just found out about this maybe three days ago, and it cuts out one of the steps that you would have to use if you do web streaming, which is easy for churches, because if you're already online, you won't need Mimo because you already have infrastructure. But if you're not and you're trying to set up a laptop and just like a iPhone to do it, you can. And this particular software helps a little bit better.
Okay, awesome. And please, as Shakita just mentioned, technology is changing rapidly. Remember the last time there was a recession, we got Uber. We had several of the things that as a part of our day-to-day, happen out of moments like this. So just keep your eyes to the ground. For example, JP gave me something that I didn't even know exists called Word Swag. So if I can't get to him and I need to post something real fast, boom, there's an app I can do it in. In fact, the invitation for this meeting was done in Word Swag. So that's Word Swag, SWAG. There's a couple other questions. Somebody said, how do you leverage social media and YouTube? Right now, there's a book. I got to look it up real quick. But there's several articles and books out there on how you do it. You have to keep in mind that you are interfacing not just with your audience, whatever that audience amount is, but now you're interfacing with billions of individuals. So how do you make yourself unique where people can touch you, see you, and hear you? So for example, with YouTube, the first thing that I would do is get on and say, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. YouTube channels are free. It takes 48 hours for it to 48 hours for it to become live. Put your YouTube channel up before you announce it to everybody, make sure it works. And then encourage your parishioners or your members to subscribe to YouTube. The subscription will give them a notification every time you're on. I know some churches who've been at it a long time, like First Baptist Church Glen Arden, has over 700,000 subscribers, primarily because they have 2 resident artists that's members of their church. So anytime they post a song, they put First Baptist Church Glen Arden, now they got extra subscribers. So that's one way you do it. I'm looking for this book that I can't find right now. Oh, there it is. It's called Platform. It's by Michael Hyatt. It's getting notice in a noisy world. Michael Hyatt is, if you don't know him, he's a guru around leadership, around organizing, around platforms. So that's the book you want to have. It'll lay out everything you need to do bit by bit for branding. Any other quick questions? All right. And if you'd like to receive all this information and the recording, please email our Chief Ministry Officer, Tashawn Thomas, at t.thomas@experiencebmc.org. That's t.thomas, the word experience, boymichaelcharles.org. And you'll get every link that we mentioned in the chat room, every link that Chiquita and JP and Coloma has given us. You'll get all of that information absolutely free. All right. And, you know, we encourage you to share it to those. Also, JP, for those who are part of CME Church, some of the graphics already have the CME emblem in the graphic for you. So that's easy work. You know, you just put the graphic up, post it, and you're good. What resources should we consider when creating a website? That's probably, I have a different slant on that. So maybe Chiquita or JP might say something. Because if you was to ask me that question, I'll simply say that free gets you zero. You know, if you want zero, then go free. If you want to get some traction or some movement or some accountability, you're going to have to invest in a website. It's just the way it is, or an app or some kind of presence. Chiquita, JP?
JP can speak to the bulk of it. I would just say to make sure that you have a donate button somewhere prominent so people don't have to look around to figure out how to make a donation, because if they do and you lose those first 3 seconds, they probably are going somewhere else. So make sure your donate button is prominent.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. You know, go to jpdesignsart.com, my design website. So I'll be more than happy to put together an estimate for you. With some of the key points, I would definitely say you want your website to work for you in your sleep. It should be a great go-to source of communication, whether it be for your upcoming events. It should have your constant live feed of your social media for Instagram, Twitter, easy for people to find you on Facebook. Like prominent buttons like donate or stream live, those need to be easily visible and easy to, like, I shouldn't have to scroll. It should be automatically right there, as well as a contact button if they do need to reach out to someone in the ministry as well. But definitely jpdesignsart.com, I'll be more than happy to share more details on quality websites and see some examples.
All right, and Coloma Smith, if you can, sir, you had some more comments on pre-recorded. We'll take one question after him and we're getting ready to close out. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, we've been recording services for about 2 to 3 years now, and we are actually recording every Wednesday now and putting sermons in the can. And we're using generic sermons because we don't ever know when we're going to need it. But if the country continues to go that way, I would encourage, if you have the capacity and you don't want to burn yourself out, use that midweek to record sermons. The other thing is, don't record at night if all of your other sermons are in the day. We made that mistake the first week. We recorded the sermon, we got home, we looked at it, the editor looked at it, they were like, it looks nothing like Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. So make sure you do that. The other thing is, make sure your team understands that this is a Sunday morning. It's just on Wednesday or Saturday. So they dress appropriately, they come appropriately, they practice appropriately. You've got to make sure that the expectation is that of the same Sunday morning. It's not like, oh, we're doing this other thing. And every preacher probably has a revival sermon that they've used that's pretty general that they can use across a couple of things. Record your top 5 sermons. You can always use them for YouTube later. But now, if we get cut off and we have to go to the living room, I think we have 2 or 3 weeks already in the can. And if we keep doing it, it'll definitely progress. But start planning like that and don't burn yourself out.
All right. I think we have a question from Pastor David Isom, wherever you are. I know you're here. Did you find him? Oh, there he is. You're free. Go ahead and speak. We don't hear you. Turn your mic on. It says connecting audio on yours. All right. Live music advantage. I think that's what you just sent me. Is that right? Okay, cool. Live music advantage. I'll give you an example. 2 weeks ago, we were streaming live. We ran into no audio on Facebook. Phone was blowing up. People making comments. They were nice, but it was just bad. There's no way to say it. It was just bad. How that saved us was because on the back end, our audiovisual team was actually recording what we were doing live. So when all of that stress and anxiety was over, we were able to upload the actual service and people experienced the live music. So I would encourage you, if you can, if you have Chiquita say, just have a drummer and a keyboardist. I say have drummer, keyboard, and at least a bass, so you can have some bottom to create that sound. The live sound is no way to get around it. Live vocals, live sound creates a whole nother platform. If you can't do live sound, make sure you use royalty-free music or sign up for CCLI. I think that's Christian Copyright Licensing. It's a small fee depending upon whatever your size of membership, and you'll be able to use that material royalty free. Also, Pastor Smith reminded us that you can use what we call stems, or you can put tracks into your music, so it can give you a greater feel of sound. If you wanted some lead guitar, or if you wanted other type of instrument, you can use some tracks, and that will be a little bit more of a technical conversation later. So want to end here with a word of prayer. Thank you all so much. We've had up to 35 individuals, starting out with 14. Thank God for each and every one of you all who made some level of contribution or just simply sharing in this way. This has been an amazing experience, but if we can, let me just end with a simple word of prayer. Father God, again, we bless you for every pastor, every ministry leader, every bishop, every national leader that's on this call right now. We thank you, God, for even in the midst of these turbulent and uncertain times, we can still hear the clarion call of your voice. Bless you, God, for those who have poured into this call, who have given their time, have given their talent, and have given their resources to bless these pastors, oh God. We pray, oh God, that this blessing will not only end in this call, oh God, but that it will be served as an exponential moment for all of us. Bless Chiquita Lockley. Bless her, oh God, as she continue to be an agent, oh God, and a vehicle and a vessel to your kingdom through the people that she's connected to, oh God. Increase and manifest, oh God, exponential growth in her life, oh God, and give her supernatural favor. We pray, God, that you do the same for JP Moore, oh God. Bless his business. Thank you for the major investment that he has given us today. And I pray, oh God, that the people who use it, oh God, that your name will be glorified and that people will have clarity and be able to see and hear your voice through these images that's provided. Thank you for Pastor Coloma Smith giving us insight, oh God, and direction and leadership. Thank you for Bishop Thomas L. Brown, who thought it not robbery to be a part of this call. Thank you for each and every pastor by name. And we thank you, oh God, for Minister Tashawn Thomas, who guided us and directed us and administrated this call. Now, God, we ask that you bless us as we go our separate ways, but we never leave your presence. In the name of Jesus, we pray and believe it is done. Let every heart say amen. God bless you. May God keep you is my prayer, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
I'll see if I can just dial in and we can listen from my phone.
T.Thomas at experiencebmc.org. T.Thomas, experiencebmc.org. God bless you. May God keep you is my prayer. Peace.